All right, how's it going, guys? Recently, I did a whole, what I would call a tonal overhaul. Got myself a smaller pedal board. Wasn't using as many pedals as I used to, so I got myself a smaller board, something lighter and more compact. And I recently rehoused an old 83 JCM 800 212 into a mini head, and a 112, and it's great. I love it. But the point of this video is, in light of all that, I was previously running an effects loop through my Mesa Boogie Mark V, which I really like. But the problem came where it's kind of always annoying to have to dig into the effects pedal somewhere on your board to run the send and return. And even when you set things up in a perfect scenario where everything's kind of on the end that needs to go to the send or, to the return, whatever it may be, it's still kind of annoying always having to go in and out of that. So I grabbed myself a pedal board by Temple Audio, and it was great because it came with this little thing over here that allows me to do my guitar input, then the send and return, and then the out to amp over here. It's all right here built into the side. And I was kind of thinking to myself, how can I make my life even easier than that? Because the other annoying part when you're running an effects loop is you've got all these cables and they're just all over the place. They're a pain in the butt. I mean, it's part of the job, It is what it is, but there's a way to streamline the process to where I don't have to unravel them all, but I didn't really see a way around it. And then one day, I can't remember where, somewhere maybe on my suggested you may be interested in online somewhere. This thing for the pedal python came up, and I had never heard of it and didn't know what it was. It was just kind of ironic that I was already thinking about it in my head in the midst of this process. And I clicked on it, and it's this really cool thing that allows you to basically graft multiple cables together in one kind of streamlined, let's just see it right here, cable coil, and it kind of looks like a snakeskin, which is why it's the pedal python. My cat's afraid of it. It's hilarious. So basically, as you can kind of see here, I've got wrapped up 3 separate cables, but they're all wrapped into one line. It's held really securely in there. It's great. We'll get back to that in a moment. But just to see, this is the normal mess I was dealing with when I'm running out. I'm going to different places, whether it's a gig that I'm doing on my own with a different group or if I'm playing at a church or something. It's just always a mess. And it's, like I said, it's just annoying. If there's a way to streamline the process, let's do it. Life's hard enough. Let's make this easier if possible. So I was like, okay, even if I don't like it, the thing was like $20 for the 15-foot option. And it's no harm done. It's $20 at the end of the day. So I got it. And when I ordered it, they also had these little labels that you could purchase for I think $2. And they just labeled the different sections of either your pedal board or your amp or your cables themselves. Because right now, as you can see, these are just standard cables. They got no labeling on them as far as where is it going. And the inputs themselves would otherwise have had nothing written on it. Now you could write. There are standard little. You can't see it now because I've covered it. But underneath here, usually there's a little white spot for you to write what is what, your in and your send and your return and all that business. But I bought the thing from Pedal Python as well because they were $2, and I feel like I could just put that on there and it'd be nice and neat. So I set everything up with that, and it's great. You can get an idea for what I got going on there. But like I said, this is kind of annoying. So what I did was I just showed you what it would normally look like, all these cables set up. So now I'm going to take them out and put in the Pedal Python. So it's as simple as that right there. I'm going to take these out of the way into my send and return. And all this business right here. Okay, so I'm actually going to sit you down for a minute. Strategically place this in a way that you could probably see. Yeah, that looks great. Okay. So we got the Pedal Python here. Everything is wrapped up. I got 3 cables wrapped up for the front amp. Effects loop, send, and return. It's got this big, heavy-duty piece of Velcro to hold everything in place. Super, super simple. Okay? Alrighty. So, you should be able to see. I'm going to take a peek at the video. Yeah, check this out. You can kind of see the idea. The effects send, and the amp out, the effects out, and the return right here. And on the opposite side, I've got the opposite thing going on to where they need to go. Amp return, amp send, and amp input, which is great. So I don't know, I'll just set them up real quick. This thing, real simple. It's as simple as this. This is the amount of time it takes to put everything together. I'm going to go to the send and return over here. And then the front of amp. And if you kind of notice, I got some slack here. These are like 18-foot Mogami cables, whatever their somewhat standard length is. And I got the 15-footer of the pedal python because I felt like I wanted a little slack. I didn't want it the length of the cable. Of course, if you have longer, cables, you might need a longer pedal python, and then you would kind of cut it to your needed length. But this worked out perfectly, actually. So I gave it a little bit of slack. And one of the pro tips that he's got on his website for how to work this thing is so that way you don't create any undue pressure on the ends of the cables on either end. I know you can only see the front, but you get the idea. He suggests just wrapping this around the handle of your amp, give it a little tension, Velcro it, all of a sudden, and of course this doesn't look great, but you got the idea. You can put it along the side. That's just for reference. So all of a sudden, I got no pressure, no strain on the end of the cables. Now over here, I line up my sends and returns and then the out to amp. Here's my return. Here is my effects out. And then I got my send, of course. Done. Now you didn't see me set up the other ones, but you all have cables, you all get the idea. It's super simple. Obviously it's a lot cleaner looking. I'll take you back over for one more once around. Really cool. Got my input for my guitar over here. Then it goes into the pedals. Not cluttering up anything. There's not there's not cable coming into sends and returns if I still have my old setup going, or I didn't have that nice little send and returns side thing going on. But it's great. Super simple, and it is pretty durable feeling. I haven't had it very long, but it feels like it's not gonna tear or anything like that. It's flexible. It really is very snake-like when you're putting in the cables. It's really easy. It took me like, I don't know, 10 minutes to do everything, maybe 15 minutes, but it was great. So just want to make a little video in case you didn't know about the pedal python. It's great, super useful, and makes my life a lot easier and makes my rig a lot cleaner. So thanks a lot, pedal python.